Hello dear students, welcome back to my English lecture. This is the fifth lecture of the chapter 4.1 History of Novel. And in this lecture we will cover two topics. But before starting, let me remind you what we had done in the last lecture. We had seen contribution of women novelists in our English literature from 18th to 20th century, all the women writers we had seen. Yes. Then we had seen Indian scenario. It means Indian writers writing in English from 18th to 20th century, all the male as well as female writers we had seen and understood their works. Next, we had just started what is novella, but that topic is not yet complete. The whole topic is just remaining. So we will complete first what is novella, what are the different novellas which were written at that period of time. Second, the most important from the examination point of view, and that is elements of novel or novella, that we are going to see. Novella. So next topic of today is novella. What is novella? Students, this word is first originated from the Italian word novelle. Novelle is an Italian word, okay? And what it means? It means new, something new that has been started, okay? Any new things, starting of any new things, we call it as novelle. From there, the word novella came. It is a type of what is novella. Now we are going to understand. We all know what is novel. Novel, it means novella. Okay, novella, it means new. So what is actually novella? It is a type of prose fiction which is shorter than a full length novel and longer than short stories. I had presented the another slide to make you understand what is novella. Novella means what? It's a type of prose fiction. Prose fiction, it means what? It is written in a paragraph, it is written in a chapters. Okay. Next, what it is written, which is shorter than. It is shorter than the full length of novel and longer than short story. Now, in this point, we will see in this slide to know word capacity and words used in these literary genres. Here in this slide, three literary genres is being present. The first is novel, which is biggest in size among all three, and the word capacity of novel is 40,000 to 50,000, and pages which are used in the novel are between 150 to 200 pages. Second literary genre is short story, whose size is between 10 to 12 pages and word capacity is less than 7,500 words. And between these two, that is novel and short story, the one more literary genre it is, and that's name is novella, whose word capacity, must remember, whose words capacity is between 7,500 to 40,000 and pages used is 60 to 120 pages. Hence, it is proved in this slide that novella is shorter than the novel and longer than the short story. Now we will see the third point. It is a well structured yet short narrative, often satirical or realistic in tone. It's a very well structured, okay? It is not like so many characters were there, so many stories were there. In that, another story is starting. No, only one story, some characters, and their life it is. But it might present a real life story. Realistic means pure real life story connected with the real life story. Satirical means it's going to mock, it's going to make you laugh, but at the same period of time you will understand, no, this is the reality, this is the reality. You will laugh on seeing the people, but you will say, no, this is the reality. For example, if I am showing one house of the Indian old family, okay, old customs those who are following, black magic that they are following, you will laugh when the people were doing black magic and you can see superstitions and all, but later on you will say, no, this is the reality of our Indian society. Okay, so that it has been said. Third point, it is usually focuses on one incident. Again, I am focusing, you can see it is written in a red to make you more understand. It's having one story only. However, in novel there are so many characters, their life, their incidents, their life is been present. That character's person's life is been present. Okay, it might be in novel like 10 to 12 characters were there. Okay, in novel 10 to 12 characters were there. In short story you would see there is of course 5 to 7 characters are there. However, in novella, if you would see, it's a very simple story is present between less than five characters were there. It means it is talking about one person's life, what he or she is facing in his life, that it is present. So one or two or maximum you can see. Four main characters were there, not more than that, and their life only one story is there, and their moral, what we learn from that story, that is present in the novella. For example, in 1.1, first is astrologer himself and second is Guru Nayak. So the only two person, their life, their character we came to know. Minor character we all know it is astrologer's wife and two or three people who are involved. Only you can see it's a small story which has been present. Okay, so that is, we can say it's a novella. Okay, next you can see what is there in the next. It has been said two main characters and takes place at a single tradition. It means it talks about their life. You can see 1.1 is the best example of novella where it talks about the life of the people, how the life of the people were there in that village, how they are surviving. So that it is talking about, not more than that. Move to the next slide. If you would see here, we are going to see which novellas in our English literature from 18th century to 20th century became very famous, which today also we read as an example of novella. Okay, so let's see. First one, if you would see, I had present even in the pictures form to make you understand. First one, if you would see, Joseph Conrad, The Heart of Darkness. Okay, second you can see The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. I think while teaching I had taken Joseph Conrad, who is Joseph Conrad, in the last previous lecture I had taught you properly, and his writings also. Henry James I had taken. Next is Billy Bird by Herman Melville. Next you can see is Death in Venice by Thomas Mann. Next is Seize the Day by Saul Bellow. And last is Pearl by John Steinbeck. So, Indian novellas example. For example, in 1.1, An Astrologer's Day, there are two main characters. These are the famous novellas in our English literature that today also we learn, we read. As again I am repeating, it's a short story, short narrative, maybe of 60 to 120 pages. The story is divided into only one or two incidents. Okay, but you can see it's a very simple story, no twisted plots. It means only one family story or more than one or two family stories were involved, not more characters were there, but the story is very real. The story is very clearly said about the real life story. You will laugh the when you see how they are present, but you would say no, this is the reality. Next topic that we will start doing is elements of novel or novella. See students, there are 6 essential elements of novel or novella. All these factors may be related to one another in the work by an author. Okay, so the author is using these elements to make one novel. So in this slide, elements of novels, 6 novels are listed. Please write down if you can. First one is theme. That is message of the novel. What is the theme suggest? It is a message. Every story tells us one message. Yes, lesson it gives us. So theme is message. Second is plot. Plot means the story of the novel. How the novel is how the story is progressing. Okay, how the story is being presented, that is plot. Next is character. Character students, it means the term character says or makes us understand. It talks about the main actor, main hero, main character in the novel. Okay, so the main characters, it means people in the story, who all are in this particular novel. Next, fourth one is setting. Setting tells us the time, place, location of that story. Of course, time, place, location of that particular story plays a very important role. Yes, so that is the setting. Next is the conflict. Conflict, it means sangharsh. Okay, it is having the conflict. Maybe the main character is having the struggle with another characters. Okay, so that is a struggling point in the story. It means the main character is facing the problem with whom, whether he might be facing the problem with himself or with the others. That is the conflict. Next, you can see style. Style means language. Every novel is having a particular different way of writing. Yes, sometimes the language is very simple to understand. Sometimes the language is used with that the local languages were also used. For example, if you are reading Indian novels, Kadambari or Upanyas, every writers are using some Hindi words, regional words in the novel to make the readers understand. So that is the style of writing of the writer. So the way of the story is telling, we call it as style. Understood? So this slide tells us what are the 6 elements which is used by the author to write the novel. First element of novel or novella is theme. So we can see in the slide it is properly listed. The first point, the theme is the central idea in the novel, which can be expressed in a nutshell. Nutshell means to summarize, to sum up. Okay, to sum up, we say na, to sum up what is the main theme. Okay, so what is the main theme? It means the reason behind why the writer, the reason behind why the writer wrote the story, or what is the message of the story. Every story is having a message. Yes, every story it gives us the message. Any story you can see, 1.1 11th standard, do you remember being neighborly? It gives us the message that we should be very good with the neighbors. Okay, it talks about the helping nature of the girls, so we should be very like helpful to others. So that is the theme. We had studied one poem in our 12th standard. I had taught that was Song of the Open Road. What was the theme? The theme is freedom. Yes, what is the theme? The theme is freedom. So every story, every writing purpose of a author is having a theme. That is the main central idea, what is the writer wants to say in a short. That is theme. It is a philosophical statement or a truth which the writer has put forth through the narration of the series of events in the story and characters acting in the particular setting. The writer who is writing the novel, he tries to present the philosophical statement or a truth. The writer tries to present, either you can see truth of the society, or of course showing the truth, but with that tries to teach us the lesson. Reality बताने के साथ साथ you would see it is gives us the lesson also. If you do wrong, it will happen to us. Okay, if you do something wrong, it will happen to us. So it teaches us the lesson. Okay, while reading we will understand the story, it teaches us the lesson, but it is having a series of events. So many events were there, that where the writer is going, where the problem he is facing, and finally, or a character, what are the problems that the character is facing, and finally what he comes with the lesson. Okay, and how the characters, if you would see, and the acting is been set up. So theme, if you would see, it talks about a character, how the character is there in that particular novel, and at the end what are the problems or lesson that the character learns. Every story is having so many characters. Some is the main character. What is the main character life? What are the problem he faces, and from the problem what he came to actually learn from the problem. So that is the theme. To make you understand more properly, student, I had present in the next slide the importance and nature of the theme. What in a novel? Students, of course, theme plays a very important role. I will give one example with, of course, in every novel, one movie has been made. If I will take one Shah Rukh Khan movie, okay, like for example Chak De India, okay, you all went to see it, and after coming back in the classroom, I asked with my students, what is the theme, what is the story all about, what is the theme? You all will sum up and say, madam, it is about one student will say, madam, it is about the women hockey. The other student would say, madam, it is about a person who faces so much of problems in his life, okay, a man who is a coach and is not accepted because of religion. One person gives one example. The another third person would say, no madam, it is the movie about tells us that if we are determined to do something in our life, we can do it, like the women hockey players had done. So every person is having their own view about the theme means in one line you sum up the story. Like one girl had said that this is all about women hockey, that is the movie of Chak De India. Okay, so in this way you can see theme is actually comes out. It means after reading the whole novel, you come to the end of the story by telling in one short statement that what is the novel all about. That is the theme. Yes, so the point number 1, can you please pay attention? It is one of the notable elements of the novel, answering the question what is the novel all about. So the second point, if you would see what it is the content of the whole novel in one statement. How I had sum up the whole thing in one line, that is theme. Okay, so how you understand the novel and how you summarize it in one line, that is the theme all about. Okay, like for example, an astrologer's day you had studied, if you want to summarize it, you would say, madam, it's a revenge. Okay, it's like fraud, astrologer's life has been shown. Okay, so that you can sum up in one statement. Next, third point, if you would see, theme reveals the meaning of the novel. Okay, what is the story all about? That is, okay, we are very much keen or having the interest to know what is the story all about. So it is normally understood that in theme also it is said the main meaning of the novel. So pay attention to the third point, what it says, theme reveals the meaning of the novel which is related with the meaning of real life. So students, of course, you can see the theme tells us the main story of the novel, and sometimes that story is related with our real life story. I had told you earlier, novel on novel you can see movies were made, yes, and that novel is actually talking about the real life story. Okay, so novel is what reflection of society, what is happening in the society, that is present in the novel. Okay, so same way the person who reads the novel, when he comes to the meaning or comes to the summary of the story, and when he relates with the personal life, real life, he says or she says that this is the reality of life. It means the novel represents the real reality of the life. Okay, reality, what is happening in our life, that is present in the novel. Next is, it is not pre-planned but it comes naturally. So you can see the writers were not pre-planning it, but it is actually, you can see, naturally comes. Same way, if you would also asked what is the theme of the particular novel, you would say, you would not plan it and say that in this way I will give the answer. Whatever you see, that theme you say. Any movie if you go, and when you comes, and when anybody asks with you what was the movie all about, you tell in one simple line. So you would see you had not planned, but what is there in your mind about that particular movie, you tell it. Okay, point, if you would see what it talks about, a student, it is an abstract idea. Okay, theme is of something like we think. All the people think in different way. We had studied the 1.1, that is an astrologer's day. All are having the different view. Somebody would say, madam, it is about the black magic or supernatural thought. Somebody would say, madam, the astrologer was very fraud person. This, for example, if the writer is writing a novel and it is about the society's problem, or you can see it is about the dowry system, you can see it naturally comes out. Okay, while reading it we can understand that this is the main problem of the society. Next, it all the people were having different thought about a particular novel, so it's an abstract idea, okay, which helps the us to understand the uniqueness of the nature of the novel. It means if the novel has been prepared, it is not talking about one simple summary. One thought is not there, several thoughts are there in the mind of the people, so that becomes the abstract idea. Several thoughts it becomes, and it is very unique. All the person is having their own perspective, their own view on a novel. Like for example, I had given this example of Chak De India. Yes, where you can see student all will say, madam, it is, somebody would say it is about women hockey story. It is, somebody would say it is about the women should be have the strong willpower to participate in the sport. Somebody would say no, it is about the religion problem. Okay, so all were having different unique or different, you can see, thought for a particular novel. Next, last point of this slide, it means which will help us to understand what is theme. Theme can be identified through interpretation. Interpretation, student, means your own thought, your own view, what you say. So readers will identify different themes for the. You can take here one example, student, and that is we had done one poem, that is the Song of the Open Road. What is the main theme? The theme is freedom. You would say, madam, it talks about the freedom. So somebody would say, madam, it is not only freedom, but it tells us that we have to face the burden with a happy heart. Every person is having their own view about a particular novel. Same way you can see here also it has been said, the theme is something like we human being identify in a different way. Interpretation means somebody would interpret or present the view in a different way. Somebody would say in a different way, somebody else will say in a different way. So theme is different thoughts of the people, that they understand the story and what is the theme or what is the simple sum up story that he presents, that is the theme. Move to the next element, is very important, is the plot. First point, plot is essentially the story or the course of event that make up the theme. Whatever the story is there, that is the plot. Okay, without a story the novel is not made. Yes, कोई भी novel में एक story तो चाहिए, and if story is not there, it means it is of no use to read. Yes, so it is the course of event. Plot में what happened is several stories were there, so that actually makes the story and that makes the theme. So without a story theme तो आएगी नहीं. तो सबसे पहले what is required is the plot. Okay, that the different stories were there, from stories the theme comes out. Understood? You can see second point, according to E.M. Foster, the king died and then queen died is a story, but the king died and then queen died of grief is a plot. एक राजा और एक रानी दोनों मर गए, ये तो एक स्टोरी है. बट वन किंग एंड द क्वीन डाइड बिकॉज ऑफ ग्रीफ. ग्रीफ मीन्स दर्द, प्रॉब्लम्स, टेंशन, दुख. ओके, द किंग एंड द क्वीन डाइड बिकॉज ऑफ द ट्रबल, सैडनेस, दैट इज द प्लॉट. तब समझ में आता है वो दोनों मरे पर वो लोग प्रॉब्लम्स के साथ मरे. सो दैट इज द प्लॉट. Okay, it tells us what's the main theme. Is that clear? It is created by the conflict, either internal inside the mind of the character or external with the other characters of the entities. Please pay attention. In the brainstorming also this question is been asked to fill up to complete it. So what is that? It is created by the conflict. Conflict means sangharsh. Okay, it means having the problem with something. We all are having the problems with something. Somebody is finding you can see somebody is finding physics very difficult, somebody is finding chemistry very difficult, somebody is finding BK very bookkeeping and accountancy very difficult, somebody is finding OC is very difficult. So you can see we all are having the conflicts in our life. We all like a student you were having the conflict, same way as a human being also you were having the problems. So problems would be of different types. First one is the internal, with yourself, inside the mind of the character. You himself is having the problem with the yourself, okay. And second is external. External means with the outside. Outside means outside people, okay, with somebody else you are having the problem with. That is the plot it suggests, okay. So it suggests the conflict which is there in the mind of either the main character or with the other people, okay. Next is plot may be simple. Of course, plot is something like it is very simply given. एक story, one story is there, one, two or three characters would be there, their life is been present. और कॉम्प्लेक्स, बहुत सारी इंटरव्यूइंग प्लीज अंडरलाइन द वर्ड, इट मीन्स एक प्लॉट से, एक स्टोरी से दूसरे स्टोरी कनेक्ट होना, दैट इज इंटरव्यूइंग फ्रॉम वन स्टोरी द अनदर स्टोरी इज बीन कनेक्टेड. मतलब एक फैमिली का स्टोरी दिखा रहा है, देन लेटर ऑन इट इज शोइंग ऑफ द अनदर फैमिली, एंड देन अगेन इट इज शोइंग ऑफ अनदर फैमिली, देन एट अनदर प्लेस पे जाके वो दूसरी स्टोरी दिखा रहा है. सो वी, और बाद में बता रहा है कि ऑल दीज कैरेक्टर्स, ऑल दीज plots are interconnected with another. So that is the plot. So it is interconnected with one another, that becomes the subplot. So plot would be of two types. First one is the simple plot where only one plot is there, and second is the complex. And what is the meaning of the complex? Interviewing plots, बहुत सारी stories, बहुत सारे characters के life के बारे में you can see if it is presented, we call it as complex story. Is that clear? So while I thought that I should briefly makes my children understand what is plot. So plot, it is the backbone of the novel. Plot means the story. Without a story we will not read anything, yes. So it is the story, or in a simple statement I would say it is called the soul of the novel. Without story, without the characters, what is happening in the story, like a king and a queen died, but if a king and a queen died because of the tension or trouble or problem, that makes us understand, okay, they are suffering in their last days problems, okay. So that makes us understand, yes, this is the story, okay. So it is the soul of the novel. Third point, it gives scope to the characters and setting, okay. प्लॉट के वजह से, बिकॉज ऑफ द प्लॉट स्टूडेंट, द कैरेक्टर्स एक्चुअली कम्स आउट. लाइक आई हैड सेड, एक प्लॉट रहता है या तो सब प्लॉट्स बहुत सारे रहते हैं. वन प्लॉट को सिंपल प्लॉट कहते हैं, एंड अनदर प्लॉट, इफ देयर आर सो मेनी प्लॉट्स वी कॉल इट एज इंटरव्यूइंग प्लॉट और कॉम्प्लेक्स प्लॉट. सो कॉम्प्लेक्स प्लॉट और simple plot, if you would see there, these plot gives helps to the characters. उसमें पता चलता है where the character is going, what the problems he or she is facing, what had happened, how the conflict happened, conflict कैसा है, internal वो खुद से उसको problem है, और that character is having the problem with the another character outside. So that we comes to know. नेक्स्ट इज प्लॉट मेक्स अस द नॉवेल इंटरेस्टिंग एंड रीडेबल. प्लॉट मीन्स होता है स्टोरी. मस्ट रिमेंबर, इफ द स्टोरी इज नॉट स्ट्रॉन्ग you will stop reading the novel. Story plays a very important role, okay, where the main character, how the character is facing the problem, how the character is playing in his life, that is present. So that is the plot. Third point, that is third element, characterization is related to the plot, okay. Characterization means character means what? Who is the main hero, who is the main villain, who is the minor character, who is the big main hero. So that is the characterization is related with the plot. It means plot अब भी पढ़ा. What is plot? Plot means main events and actions in the story. क्या स्टोरी है, ओके. द मेन इवेंट्स एंड द एक्शन इन द स्टोरी वी कॉल इट एज प्लॉट. एंड प्लॉट से characters were connected, okay, as the course of the event take place because of the certain behavior of the characters plays a very important role. Movie, I will again come to the movie because on novel movies were made, okay. novel के ऊपर movies बनता है, तो I will take the example of movie, okay. So movie, if you would see a student, at the end whom you remember? Yes, the main character, the main actor, the main actress, the villain role. Yes, supporting actor sometimes बहुत अच्छा play किया, that time we remember them. So you can see student in this character in novel also, character plays a very important role. After reading it whole novel, you remember, ha ye character, this character played a very important role, this character was the best. So character actually wins the heart of the common readers. Okay, so it is the behavior of the character इतना अच्छा moral, like very good person personality इतना better best दिखाता है, like we were connected with the main character. Okay, so that is the character who plays a very important role and it is related with the plot. Move to the second point. Depiction of the character can range from a thumbnail means concise or brief, short, in short. Okay, in short, if I would say, sketch to deep, wordy, highly detailed verbal sketch. कैरेक्टर क्या होता है कि इन नॉवेल द कैरेक्टर स्पीक्स, बोलता है, और उसके बोलने से, बिकॉज द कैरेक्टर स्पीक्स, द कैरेक्टर बिकम फेमस. So we must understand that here it is properly said that in this the character's life is been present. It is how the character present himself. Okay, how the main character is present in the novel. Okay, through the words, through verbal sketch, it means he speaks, he present, he does something good to the others. That is the character. So we can see, we remember the particular character by their roles in the novel. Third point, the important character may have been described in its every aspect by the writer. You can see if a particular character is the main character. अगर एक मूवी है और एक शाहरुख खान की मूवी, और शाहरुख खान को हमेशा आप देखो एक बहुत ही important personality present करता है, every time helping to the people, having a very nice nature, very good, liked by the people, all people, audiences like him. Why? Because the character is being given such role. Okay, so same way in novel also, the main character is given a very important role. Okay, the important character may have been described in its every aspect by the writer, and the writer go on describing in the novel. So in novel, must remember, there are two types of characters. One is the main character and second one is the minor character. We had studied 1.1, remember, an astrologer's day. Who is the main character? एस्ट्रोलॉजर हिमसेल्फ. जबकि आप देखोगे यहाँ पे एस्ट्रोलॉजर्स डे में एस्ट्रोलॉजर का नाम नहीं दिया है. हु इज द एस्ट्रोलॉजर, दैट नेम इज नॉट गिवन, बट दैट एस्ट्रोलॉजर मैन हु वॉज डूइंग द एस्ट्रोलॉजी, ही हिमसेल्फ बिकम्स द मेन कैरेक्टर. वन मोर कैरेक्टर इज मेन. Do you remember Guru Nayak? Yes. Who is the minor character? The minor character here, it is none other than astrologer's wife, of course. So must remember the important characters. The writer, who is the writer of the novel, gives him very importance and give him every aspect the writer describes. The minor character are not much given importance. Okay, minor character given a very less importance. Very less, it means very less role would be there. आप मूवी भी देखते हो, कुछ कैरेक्टर होते हैं जिनका बहुत शॉर्ट रोल रहता है, एंड सम कैरेक्टर्स, दैट इज द मेन कैरेक्टर्स, वो स्टार्टिंग से लेके एंडिंग तक देयर रोल्स वर देयर. सो देयर आर मेन कैरेक्टर्स एंड माइनर कैरेक्टर्स in the novel, of course, and in the movie, of course. Okay, next you can see the reader follows the action of one main character throughout the novel. Or as a common reader, we all are the common readers, middle class common readers who are reading the book. What we like the character who from starting the writer is giving the importance. Okay, and every time we feel, हाँ अभी main hero है ना, main character है ना, he is going to solve all the problem, and same way it happens. So according to our mentality that the main hero is, or the main character is going to solve all the people's problem, that the writer present in the novel. That's why that particular writer, that particular character becomes the main hero of the novel. Okay, so throughout the novel this character is referred to be as protagonist. Please underline the term protagonist. Protagonist, what you mean by the term? It means main character. Okay, it means main character. And astrologer's day we all had seen, an astrologer was an main character. Is that clear? Is in conflict with a character or an entity, or that main character is having a conflict. conflict मैंने अभी बताया. what is conflict? Maybe with the personal life, खुद से उसको प्रॉब्लम रहेगा, और विद द आउटसाइड कैरेक्टर, कोई तो एक विलियन का रोल प्ले करना चाहिए, यस और नो, वन वुड बी देयर हु वुड प्ले द रोल ऑफ अ विलियन, yes. So you can see in it one, of course, antagonist is also there. Antagonist means villain, in a common language we call it as, yes. So what is the line talks about? Protagonist in the novel, there are characters, there are some main characters, some are minor characters, and those who are main characters, they are known as protagonist. Protagonist means main character is in conflict with the, उसका किससे लड़ाई रहता है, he is having a conflict with the another character outside, or an entity or force में भी internal और external, sometimes वो खुद बाहर आके डिशुम डिशुम, like you know movies में आपने देखा होगा, he might be quarreling, might be fighting, or sometimes he himself tries to solve the problem. So that is present, which is known as antagonist. Okay, so two types of character here, that is the main character, that is protagonist is there, and the person, main character, who is fighting the whole life with that another character, is the villain of the movie or villain of the novel, and that is antagonist. Antagonist means अपोजिट होता है प्रोटोगनिस्ट का, मतलब विलियन. ओके, पूरे नॉवल में दो कैरेक्टर आप बहुत स्ट्रांग देखोगे. वन इज द मेन कैरेक्टर हु इज अ वेरी गुड बाय नेचर, इज हेल्पिंग टू द पीपल एंड सेविंग द पीपल एंड fighting with the another character who is actually a very immoral person, who is creating the problem in the society, and that is the antagonist, that is the villain with the main character, the main you can see antagonist is fighting. In an astrologer's day, because we had read, so we can take the example, an astrologer's day, an astrologer is the main character, that is protagonist, but who is antagonist? The antagonist is none other than Guru Nayak. Guru Nayak is the antagonist. Understood? So that is the character. Next, setting. So next is, what is setting? Setting, fourth point, setting is the background, okay, in which the story takes place. Background, it means background, it might be takes place like in a room, a battlefield, or a spaceship, anywhere. The place where it happens, it is known as setting. So what are the things which is required in the setting? Setting require place, yes, then it requires period, then time, then climate, then weather, then lifestyle. These all things, if you would see, setting requires. Okay, there are so many types of setting aspects. One by one we will see. Place means the place where the main event is happening, where the characters are playing the role at that place. Period, it means when it is morning, evening, afternoon, when it is. Okay, when is that period or that particular period of time, okay, when that time is. Okay, a period, it also, it means like, for example, it is the story of the 18th century period, 19th century period, or 20th century period. That is time, we all know, it means when it is happening. Okay, when is the time, morning time, evening time, when is the event happen. Next is climate. Climate means monsoon season is shown, where the characters are playing the role, or if it is a very summer season, very much heat is there, summer season is there, that story is being, main characters are playing their role. Weather, it means what type of weather it is. Okay, whether it is a monsoon time, whether it is a summer season, whether it is a winter season, but what is the role. So next is lifestyle. Lifestyle, it means they are very rich people, or they are very poor people having no good quality dresses, or they are middle class society. So that is the setting which makes us understand, okay, this is the story of a middle class society, or a rich class society, or a poor class society, we comes to know. Okay, must remember, student, because of the setting, plot and character, plot and character are the two major elements that are affected. Affected means they are actually faced or been affected due to setting. Setting, if you would see, if setting is not there, plot and character would not be more important, more strongly present. So plot means, while we all know Plot means the main event and action, and main event and action is based on the setting. So how it happens, we readers can imagine the story and scenes. Okay, we readers can imagine the story and the scenes when these things happen. So this is the setting. Character, it means how the character convey the information. Okay, how convey information about the character, that is the setting all about. It means how the character is played, in how the character is giving doing the role, that we understand through the setting. So setting plays a very important role, and plot and character, if you would say, they are mainly affected, or you can see faced. Okay, if plot and character actually strongly comes out because of the setting. So setting is mainly means place, period, time, climate, weather and lifestyle, must remember. To make you understand properly, in the next slide I had given, it gives us information about environment, domestic factors and expressions of character. What is the setting? Setting gives us the understanding ki what is the environment of that time when the character are playing the role. अगर एक नॉवल में 2-3 characters were there where they are playing the role, whether it is a rainy season, whether it is a monsoon is whether it is a summer season is there, where the story is been taken place. So wo environment it is been present. Domestic, it means it might be of house where the room, how we are sitting at the room, that story has been present. And of course you can see I had said that characters are mainly, you can see, played a very important role in the setting. So it also shows human will, relationship between the man and the nature. Okay, because of the setting it makes us understand the human will. It means how the human is played there in role, whether the particular character is playing the role of morality or immorality. That time we understand because of the setting. So setting gives a good range. Setting एक्चुअली में if you would see plot और characters को strongly बढ़ने को देता है. Okay, it gives a good chance to grow. To whom? To the plot and the character. So the plot and character, if they grow, the credit goes to setting. So that is affected meaning. Okay, setting has symbolic function. For example, Heart of Darkness, Joseph Conrad had written. I had said in the novella, do you remember one example I had given? Heart of Darkness, written by Joseph Conrad. There one river name is there, that is Congo River. And Congo River is very symbolic. Very symbolic means especially वो क्यों important है, why it has been symbolic, because you can see it is joining the two civilization. It means black people and white people, and that Congo river is been floating. So that if you would see, it represents that how black people, one side the black people were staying and another side the white people were staying. So that it present in the Heart of Darkness. Same way I will give one more example. Come to 1.1. Okay, that is An Astrologer's Day. It gives us more dominant as a living personality in the regional novel. If you would see our regional novel, that is An Astrologer's Day, written by R.K. Narayan. It is one type of novella. Okay, where is the setting? Setting is the Malgudi. Malgudi, if you would see where it has been shown, southern or south of our India. So in this way you can see location. When setting, it means it shows the location. It might be at the street. The action occurs in the darkness. Okay, sometimes the action happens in the darkness, so that it shows. Even you had seen astrology, where the astrologers sit. What is the location? Do you remember? He is sitting at a tree lined area, a long path running through the town hall parks where the sellers were selling their goods. There the astrologers sit. So what is the setting of the astrologers day? The setting is he is sitting at the road at the evening. That is the time it shows. Where he was sitting at the tree lined area where the trees were there he comes and sit under the tree. Okay, that is the location or setting of the An Astrologer's Day. Is that clear? So that is the setting. Next element is conflict. That is the fifth point, element of novel. Conflict means sangharsh. Okay, how the main character is facing the problem personally himself. खुद से कितना प्रॉब्लम फेस कर रहा है वो तो एक कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हो गया. अनदर कॉन्फ्लिक्ट इट मीन्स आउटसाइड. आउटसाइड हाउ द मेन कैरेक्टर, जो मेन प्रोटोगनिस्ट है, हाउ पर्टिकुलर पर्सन इज फेसिंग द प्रॉब्लम विद अनदर कैरेक्टर दैट इज द विलियन. ओके, that is antagonist. So that is the conflict. So the struggle between the opposite forces, okay, maybe by himself or with the another man or another person, is the story is called as conflict. उसको conflict कहते हैं. Okay, it means दो लोग they are being clashed with each other. struggle हो रहा है, clash हो गया. ओके, किसी मैटर पे, किसी प्रॉब्लम पे, वन प्रॉब्लम इज देयर एंड बोथ ऑफ द मेन कैरेक्टर एंड द विलियन इज फाइटिंग, दैट इज द कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. हाउ ही फाइट्स, हाउ द मेन कैरेक्टर दैट इज द प्रोटोगनिस्ट फाइट्स एंड सेव्स द society from all the problems. So conflict is in the story, if you would see, provides interest. If the main character is very strong and fighting with all the problems of the society, we feel interested to see this. Okay, even curiosity, curiosity means jigyasa, we want to know more thing, how the main character is fighting, how the main, what the next story, how the main character is actually going to fight and save the society. So all that curiosity is there in our mind. It leads to the climax in the story. It means climax means main suspense of the story is being opened when the main character strongly comes out and actually wins the heart of the weak common readers by fighting with all the odds, all the problems in the society. It brings out the falling action and ending. Finally, if you would see, conflicts end the story also. It means when the main character fights with the villain, there only the story completes. So last point of today's lecture is, and the last element is language or style. So we will see what is language or style. In journal, must remember, language is used by the writer. Okay, writer in his novel, the writer uses a different type of style, a tone, to craft the story. To make a story, the writer uses different words, different tone. Okay, style refers to the writer's choice of diction. Now diction meaning choice of words. It is up to the writer which type of words that he is using. Then the sentence structure, which type of sentences he is using. Next is literary techniques like figures of speech he is using, some rhythms he is using, imagery, symbolism. Okay, and the tone of the writer depends upon how the writer's attitude towards the story. So let's see, first point, the language and the techniques used by the author, that is novelist, for the narration of the course of event is known as a style. I had told you right now, it is up to the writer how he present the language or techniques, different techniques he uses to present the story. Okay, so narration of the course of event is very important, which I had presented in the next point to make you understand more thoroughly. So novelist can use various narrative techniques. Okay, he uses different types of narrative techniques. In the next lecture we are going to study types of novel where we will understand the different narrative techniques. Some I had given, like for example, if the writer or novelist is using first person pronoun or narration. What is the first person narration? That is I. Yes, I. So it means it is autobiographical novel. If epistolary novel, if it is, then the writer uses it is, we all know, it is written in a letter form, and when he uses a third person he used when the stream of consciousness technique. These all are the types of novels. So it is the narration technique, I am again repeating, it is the narration technique by the writer to present the novel. Next slide, if you would see what here it has been said, an author can use extensive vocabulary. Vocabulary means words, different types of words, he uses high phrases. Sometimes he uses very high phrases, difficult hard words or phrases, a group of words. It means he may be laconic. What do you mean by the term laconic? It is written there using as few words as possible. Sometimes the author uses very simple words to describe the character, or sometimes he uses so much of words. He go on writing about the character, describing it to explain about the main character or villain or anybody. So you can see it is up to the writer how much words he uses, what type of writing he writes, how how he presents the story, it is the writer's way of or behavior of presenting the language or style. Okay, and would write only to the point, or he may mix both according to the requirement of for meeting his purpose. So I had said earlier that it is up to the writer that how he is presenting the main characters. Okay, what type of words he is using, maybe use linguistic devices to make the narrative effective. What do you mean by the term linguistic devices? Linguistic devices means diction means choice of words, syntax means sentence construction, dialogues, okay, different dialogues he may be using the punctuation marks, then figures of speech to compare, like simile, metaphor, or sometimes he uses he, she, it, symbols, so much of symbols he uses, color symbols, imagery, some photos or pictures are there. Through this the poet he presents. And last of point of this lecture, if you would see, is all these factors decides the texture. What do you mean by the term texture? Texture meaning feel or touch, of the writer, how he is narrating. Narration means telling the story and create an impact on the reader, actually touch the heart of the common readers, okay, in his novel. Next lecture we are going to do types of novel and brainstorm. This is Garima Miss signing off. Stay home, stay safe.